Good morning to all. Myself Dr. K. Manoharan, Associate Professor, Department of Biomedical Engineering. So today class we are going to discuss about data gathering. So in IoT application, it involves an action such as data gathering, that is a data acquisition, validation, storage, processing, retention and analysis. So getting the data, validating the data, storing the data, processing the data, retention of the data and analysis of the data. So data gathering is an acquiring a data from a device or a network devices. So the four modes of acquisitions are, first mode is polling. It refers to the data sought by an address of the device. It's operated like then polling by a computer to access the control of channel to transfer the data or to check if there is a data address to it. So that means, so we given each devices will be polled one by one, and if they have a data, the data will be read. This is the polling method. So very simple. So if we have an n devices, mean each devices will be verified, checked. So that is polled one by one and a sequence manner. So if you have the device, if the device have the data, then that data will be read. If there is no data, and it will be polled for a next devices. So here it will be very simple architecture, but the problem is the system time is wasted, because even the device have the data or not, the server will check each one by one. So it automatically it will have a waste of times. Second method, it's an event based. So whenever that particular event occurs, so the data acquisition will be performed. Look at this. Event based means the data acquired from a device whenever event like an any something here happens. Like we take an examples. Whenever we have an NFC or any card will be tagged or come near to the device, so it's taking or reading the data. So this is the event based. Whenever some event happens, so based on that particular event, the data will be acquired or data will be read. So that is called event based data acquisitions. Third one, scheduled interval. So it will have a scheduled interval gaps. So for example, every 10 minutes once we read the data. So that is called scheduled intervals. So the data acquisition from a device at selected intervals. So examples, change in the light conditions of a street lights. So whenever it's a morning 6 o'clock, we have a sun, so the lights will be turned off. Whenever we have an evening 6 o'clock, if there is no sun, so we can turn on the street lights. So it will be scheduled. So that is morning 6 o'clock, the lights will be turned off. Evening 6 o'clock, the light will be turned on. So this is the scheduled. Scheduled interval means exactly it have a time interval. So that particular time we perform that particular operation. After that particular time, again we can stop the devices. And fourth method, this is continuous monitoring method. So that means continuously we monitor that there is some data in the device. So if we have, we can read it. It refers to the data sought from a device continuously. So it's an example for this is data for traffic monitoring. So if we monitor traffic continuously, we need to monitor data from the traffic. So this will have a continuous monitoring. So we can take another example, patient monitoring. So for example, if you are monitoring a patient, we need to continuously monitor the patient different health parameters. Next will be data enrichment. So there are 3 steps in the data enrichment. So first one, aggregations. It refers to the process of joining together present and previous data frames after removing the redundant or duplicate data. So very simple, it have joining together the present and previous data frames. So the data will be transmitted in a frame by frames. So the first frame and second frame, it will be combined that with the aggregations. So the redundant means the repetition data or a duplicate data. So these will be removed. For example, if you are transmitting one video for 5 minutes, so when you are transmitting a next video, the previous video or 5 seconds or 10-second data also be transmitted. So that means that the previous data will be removed and then 2 frames will be combined. That is kind of aggregations. Second one, compactions. It means making information short without changing the meaning or a context. So the example for this, transmit only the incremental value of data set so that the information is very same. For example, we continuously get the data for a temperature. For example, if you take a room temperature, then normally it will be a 37 degrees Celsius. Sometimes it will be increases 38, 39, or sometimes it will be decreases 34, 32, like that. If you hill station, it will be very less. So instead of transmitting the temperature continuously, for example, if you take it morning 9 o'clock, it is a 36 degrees Celsius. So if you take for every half an hour, so if you give 9:30, so again if the value is from 36 to 37, it is increments. Instead of transmitting that 37 degree, so I am going to transmit only the difference. So previous value is 36, now the value is 37. So the difference is +1. So I am transmitting only a +1. So the previous value will be added with this to get the values. So that is only that increment value will be transmitted. So this is the compaction, because when you are transmitting a complete information, for example it is a 10 digit number or 15 digit number, the changing value will be very less, but actual data will be very high. So to avoid that data bandwidth or minimizing the data size, so we are go for this compactions. But here we need to compute the data, because if you transmit a continuously actual temperature, we can directly use it. But here we send only the incremental value. So we need to add that incremental value with the previous value to get the actual current values. So next one will be fusion. So formatting the information received in the ports through the various data frames. And then several types of data, removing the redundancy in the received data. So very simple, formatting that particular information received in the ports. Also removing the redundant data, that is repetition data will be removed. So this is fusion. And data decimations. So this is the data decimation is performed after data enrichment. So after performing data enrichments, so data decimations will be performed. So the decimation means it distribute, broadcast, or diffuse, or spread. That means distribute that information. So distribute to some users. That is called distribute. Broadcast means the data will be broadcasted for n number of devices. So like in radio broadcast, TV broadcast. That means any user can access that broadcast information. So diffuse or spread. Spread means spreading that information. That means what are the channels will be available, we are sending that information to them. Thank you.